Hi, my name is Bimal Moharjan, founder of Gutsphere and a survivor of chronic constipation. For years, I have lived and shared what it means to stay constipation free, not from theory, but from experience. I have shared frameworks, protocols, and systems that help me and thousands of others live symptom free. But this story is different because last week, everything I share got tested in real life. I need to confess something. After 5 years of living constipation free, teaching, writing, and building an entire company around gut health, I got constipated badly. Not the mild kind you fix with fiber, the kind that humbles you, the kind that reminds you that no matter how much you know, life can still flip everything upside down. And that's why I am making this video, because life will throw you a curveball. And in those moments, it's not about succumbing to fear, it's about knowing what to do. I will also share exactly what I did to finally poop and what I avoided doing so it didn't get worse. I've spent years saying how to live constipation free, but when I was hit by a family medical emergency, everything I shared, sleep, hydration, movement, morning rhythm, collapsed overnight. I wasn't at home. I didn't have any of my tools. No footstools, no supplements, no warm water, no morning rhythm. Just a tall hospital toilet and a sleep deprived body and highly stressed stretch of time. That's when it hit me. Most of what I talk about works in a best case scenario when you and I are in control. But constipation comes for us in the worst case world when you are not in your best shape. So here is what really happened. We rushed to the hospital and stayed 2 nights. I barely slept. And we got back home after 2 nights. But even then, sleep didn't come. 2 days later, we were back in the hospital again, this time for 5 more nights. During that stretch, every good habit I've ever talked about, no sleep, no movement, I sat at the bedside all day. Hydration, forgotten. Morning routine, gone. Meditation or yoga, impossible. It was pure survival mode. We had left in an emergency. I didn't pack a thing. No bottle, no cup for warm water, no laxatives or supplements. Nothing. And even before the first admission, my sleep had already been broken for almost 3 weeks. By the time Saturday morning arrived, the body finally said, enough. The system that had worked for years stopped. And this time, I wanted to understand why. I had the urge, no other alarming symptoms, but I could not evacuate. That tells you something. Not chemistry, not diet, coordination. Most likely a pelvic floor timing problem from suppressing the urge too long under stress. Here's why that matters. When you hold the urge, stool keeps sitting in the rectum, losing water hour by hour. The longer it waits, the drier and harder it gets. So timing is as important as diet. And stress isn't just in your head. Under stress, your body shifts into fight or flight and literally dials down rest and digest. That's physiology, not psychology. So there I was, knowing exactly what was happening and still stuck. Now it was time to test every lever I had ever shared. Here is what I could have tried. 1. Oral laxatives, but it's too slow for an outlet level jam. And also, I didn't have any. 2. Fiber supplements. It's a great prevention, but terrible rescue. 3. Salt water flush, but I didn't have salt, no warm water, and for now, this is a wrong mechanism anyway. And 4. Enema. It wasn't available. And I tried hydration, squats, lunges, stretches, but no change. At that point, ergonomics was only tool left. The hospital commode was tall. My feet didn't reach the floor. So I flipped the dustbin, used it as a foot rest, and lifted my knees above my hips to open the angle. For anyone new to this, seated upright, your colon and rectum form a kink. Elevating your knees strengthens that path and allows the stool to pass more freely. That's why squatty potty actually works. I tried breath cues, the long, low exhales to bulge the abdomen without straining the throat. I tried gentle biofeedback, moo and poo method. Nothing worked. And here's what I didn't do: strain. Because straining only turns discomfort into damage. So when everything failed, it came down to one decision. With no tools left, I did what I had to do: gentle manual evacuation with a clean finger. The first pieces were rock hard and dry, a literal cork blocking the exit. Once those came out, a large mass finally dropped. There was a bright red blood, a small tear, and irritated hemorrhoids. Painful, yes, but it was local, so I didn't panic. I just resolved the hardest constipation I have gotten in years. That moment wasn't pleasant, but it was clarifying. I finally understood that what functional constipation feels like when every lever I try fails. After that, I focused on one thing: recovery. Even in that hospital, I built a small system back from gym. I ordered prune juice and prunes from the cafeteria, started getting up more often and walking laps in the hallway and the room, and stopped depending on coffee to stay awake. I had been drinking coffee to make sure that I was staying awake to take care of my family. But that alertness came at a cost. When you are sleep deprived and dehydrated, it's deceptive. It tightens the smooth muscles and slows motility. So I cut it. Then I increased water, focused on warm fluids, and slowly rebuilt rhythm. Every small win, each successful morning, or each walk was like reactivating a system that had gone offline. As things stabilized, I started paying attention to what my family member's body was going through too. She had a major surgery. She was on medications, NSAIDs, acetaminophen, laxatives, stool softeners, and I asked the medical team about microbiome recovery. Their answer surprised me. Yes, medications disrupt the gut, but supplements aren't always the fix. Why? Because most probiotic studies are done on healthy individuals. For someone recovering from surgery, stress, or hospitalization, the gut environment is completely different. After major stress, the microbiome becomes dominated by hardy, stress tolerant bacteria. Until your body gets back its routine, food, movement, sleep, no supplement can rebalance it effectively. Also, we do not want to be anti medication, anti NSAIDs, because we know those impact gut microbiome, but we have to consider risk and reward. Post surgery, the risk for infection is high, and if someone gets infected, then nothing else matters. So to stop infection, we need to take that medication. It's not simple black and white that don't do anything that disrupts microbiome. It's about balancing risk and reward. We'll talk about that in the future. But for now, what I realized is this: their idea was simple but profound. Focus on returning to a normal diet and rhythm first. It was exactly what I share and validated in real life. Also, I learned why doctors don't recommend supplements or other things that are available in the internet for two reasons. One, they have not been studied widely, and most of the data that's available are in a small group. And for them to recommend something, it has to go through a more rigorous data and trials. And also for second reason, if they recommend something, that becomes very authoritative. And at current stage of everything that's available, being authoritative can be very misleading. And I empathize with the medical team. So looking back, here is the breakdown that they work: jogging water, squats, posture alone, breath alone, biofeedback alone. And what I didn't do was strain. And what finally worked was manual evacuation, because I didn't have any other tools available. And also my problem was mechanical, not chemical. And then I started working on repair. prune juice, fruits, fluids, walking, and catching the next urge window. And after that, pain faded, bleeding subsided, rhythm restored. That sequence taught me something I will never forget. And here is why I think it didn't spiral further. Years of tracking and experimentation through Gutsphere helped me understand my body's levers. That awareness made it possible to treat this as a one-time event, not the start of a new cycle. If there is one thing I learned, it's that awareness is your foundation. When you understand your body's rhythm, even emergencies don't spiral into setbacks. That's what I have been building with Gutsphere, a tool to help you track, learn, and act with calm. You can check it out and find the link in the description. And also, moving on, you need to understand constipation isn't a single problem. It's a coordination between your gut, your mind, and your habits. When life strips away your structure, focus on few levers you still control. Catch the morning urge. Timing is treatment. Plant your feet. Lift your knees. Lean forward. Mechanics matter. Breathe long and low. State dictates motility. Hydrate and walk. Motion fuels motion. And if you have the urge and can't go, it's usually coordination, not chemistry. Fix posture and breathing before you reach for pills. And don't do one thing. Never ever strain. It will only convert discomfort into more discomfort. So even after 5 years of being constipation free, I learned I'm still human. Stress, sleepless nights, and fear can dismantle the best routines overnight or at least in few. But that's the truth of health. Life will always throw you curveballs. And when it does, it's not about fear, it's about knowing what to do. Catch the first urge, ground your feet, slow your breathing, hydrate, walk, even a little. Those tiny actions keep you steady when everything feels out of control. If this story helps you stay calm and aware the next time life gets messy, it was worth sharing. Thank you and see you next time. Subscribe to Gutsphere.